welcome to Game 8 of the Women's World Chess Championship between the world champion Wenjun and the challenger Tan Zhongyi. My name is Paul Emmanuel Aparatos, aka Paul Pao, and this is definitely intense as it is right now, as Wenjun is currently in a hot streak, winning 3 games in a row and leading the series 5 games to 2. So we're gonna find out if Wenjun is gonna close Tan Zhongyi's possibilities of winning the best of 12 series, because if Wenjun wins today, she's now at 6 points, and Tan Zhongyi is unable to win the best of 12 series. But it's not yet over if she gets to win 4 in a row, which goes 6-6, and she has to also win the tie breaks. So we're gonna find that out in just a bit. So Tan Zhongyi plays white in here, and she plays e4, and then Wenjun, playing as black, responded with e5, something that is such interesting. And then it continues with knight c3, knight f6, bishop c4, knight c6, d3, bishop b4, knight f3, d6, castles, bishop takes, b takes, castles again, bishop g5, h6. Well, it's a good thing that this knight is gone, because the square, knight on c3 square is gone, because it threatens here to attack the f6 square and the knight as well. And as there is no more bishop, imagine if she goes back in there, not anymore. But of course, with h6, there goes bishop h4. And then there's knight a5, knight b3, takes. I don't know why, but I was thinking about c takes b3 to restore this pawns in the somewhat in an original position. But instead, it was a takes b3, remaining the doubled pawn, and this, I mean, it's kind of fine with these, but the doubled pawn is kind of a problem for Tan Zhongyi. So queen e7 concedes the game, rook e1, queen to e6, pawn to d4, knight d7, which means after that queen e6, she can, the bishop isn't pinning on anything, so this knight can safely move whenever she likes. So let's say d4. Of course, there's knight d7. The problem is this bishop was trapped. Oh my. I mean, I can just go push the pawn right there and then bishop, and alongside maybe I can develop it right there. Okay, queen d3, a6, rook a d1, rook e8, bishop g3 in advance. Push pawn right there, knight d2, knight to f6, b4, knight h5. Wait. I can just push pawn right there, but I was thinking about h3 as well to defend this diagonal, and maybe with the possibilities of knight h5, I can just go bishop h2 without losing my bishop and a risk of another double pawn right over here. I would say that the next move could be takes this one and takes this one, and maybe queen g6. But there are lots of things I could say. Maybe queen right here has to defend the h3 square at all times, no matter what. And this bishop, maybe she has to go there and to attack the queen right over there, which seems interesting as it was. Going back to b4, knight h5, knight b3, queen g6, d takes, knight takes, h takes. Well, this was an interesting one. She didn't take this one immediately. Let's just say she didn't go with this immediately. Instead, after taking this, she goes with a switching zug with knight takes and then h takes g3. Regardless, even if I go queen takes g3, it's still a double pawn at the end of the day, which is a problem? There are now 2 double pawns. A problem. Huh. Or 3 as of this move. What? But I mean, she can just take this one. And maybe rook to d5, attack this, attack it with bishop b7, rook to c5, rook to e7, knight to a8, back to c8, knight c6, and possibly I would go knight to e6 and take this one. Yeah, I would say about that, but maybe I could go for f6 and knight g6, and then possible is f5. I cannot go with this because I'm gonna lose the rook. So like I take this and I lose this rook. This knight was defended, but the rook is gone. So it's not good to rotate this because it's gonna be taken. So the possibilities is probably knight to e5 or f4, which is kind of fine. But yeah, maybe I can go for knight f5, attacking this rook right there, and I would say rook takes it, and I'll go to take this one back, and then rook takes c7, maybe bishop g4. Yeah, rook to e7, maybe rook to d8, knight to g6, go with here, knight e5, maybe bishop here, but I can just go for rook check and then h2 among others, and maybe rook to d2, but what would I say? I guess I should move the bishop, of course. Alright, let's go back. So h takes g3, rook takes knight e5, bishop d7, rook e3. Ooh, I think with this bishop to d7, it prepares rook a e8, so Wenjun immediately defends, like puts on attention on the e4, like all around here so far. So with rook a e8, it adds more and more tension on the e4 square. So rook de1 by Tan Zhongyi, and then f5, another tension. There is a lot of tension happening in this game. So queen d4, rook takes, rook takes, rook takes, rook takes, f takes, c4, e3. Huh. I'm confused. Jun left. I mean, Jun just let that pawn, like, I don't know what to say, but Jun took the pawn away or something? Like, gave the pawn away rather. Alright, gave the pawn away. And that was actually happening. So queen takes oh! So e3, she pushes the pawn in order to take this one back as a compensation. So she takes this one, she takes this one back. And queen e7, b takes, and then queen takes. So there's now like a tension right over here with the threat up right there. I could go bishop e6, but the game goes with bishop b5. Excuse me about that. Knight b7, c3, knight takes, queen d3, queen check, king h7, knight f5, queen to d7. Oh, so the exchange, knight to d4, bishop to a4, preparing for the pawn to push to c2, knight to e2, c2, as the game goes. f3, I was surprised, but I would think about knight c1. I just got a hiccup. Alright, so knight c1, I could go for knight c1 to get rid of this. I mean, to prevent the pawn from pushing further. But that didn't happen. But if that was happening, I would go for g6 or then f3. And maybe king f5, king f2, and then king e5. I would go for the endgame right now. Totally, like, I have 4, but this pawn is all connected right over there. And these are like so isolated. There's like one isolated pawn for Tan Zhongyi, but There are like 2 on Wenjun. But it isn't that bright. Yeah. But let's go back to f3, and then king g6, king f2, bishop e5. There goes knight c1. She moved the knight to c1 because if not, let's just say she goes like, tries to attack like here. She's gonna take this one, and promote it to queen alongside like that. But h5 goes to game, king e3, king g5, king d2, bishop f1, knight b3, king takes g2, bishop takes g2, and knight b4. Wait. I need to figure this one out. I mean, there's no choice. She has to lose the piece anyway. Wow. Alright, knight b3, bishop takes, knight d4. Bishop takes f3, and bishop sacrifice. That is crazy. If I would be me, I would immediately take this one. But I guess it's a bad idea. She's gonna take this one and maybe knight to d2 and then king to g4. Bishop, knight f1 and then bishop g2. Go for this, takes. And it's all screwed for black. I mean, it's all screwed for white alongside like that. Going back to knight d4, there goes bishop takes. Sacrificing the bishop for an exchange of 2 pawns, which had happened in king g4, knight d4, king takes, knight f5, king g4, knight e3, king f3, knight takes, h4, knight e1, king g3, king e3, h3, knight f3, and h2. And here, Tan Zhongyi unfortunately resigned. But when I watched the game, I was thinking of possibilities like g5, but because I would push the pawn right there and maybe g4, and then probably like here, go for it, and then maybe a check, king to g2, or yeah, I could go for this right there. Oh, wow. Maybe I could be here and protect this one at knight h1, and then g3 takes this one. Yeah. I'm so confused, but it's a good thing she did it, because h3, knight f3, h2. I was expecting she's gonna take this one and then take this one back, and probably king here, king f4, king h3, king g5, king g3, and then king f5, king f3. What is it? Why is it? It's bad. Take this one. Okay. Oh. This might be drawish. Oh, it would be still winning. Yeah. There's still no choice for it, unfortunately, for Tan Zhongyi. So now, the series, Wenjun is still leading the series 6 games to 2, and she actually won 4 games in a row, which is absolutely crazy. And for Tan Zhongyi, she's now officially unable to win the best of 12 series. The only thing she can just do is to also win 4 in a row to advance the tiebreaks. So for the scenarios of game 9, is that if the game ends in a draw or Ju will win, she will be the women's world chess champion for the 5th consecutive time. The first one was in May 2018, which is a match, like the best of 10, I suppose, best of 10 series. And then November 2018 was the knockout tournament, the single elimination, like the FIDE World Cup. And since 2020, it's been a best of 12 series. So yeah, that was like absolutely crazy. So Wenjun leads the series 6-2. She has an opportunity to close the series out and win it all. Well, thank you so much for watching, PalFam. Don't forget to subscribe and follow our other socials on Twitch, X, Instagram, and Threads. And don't forget to also like us on Facebook because we also show this one on Facebook. So tomorrow is, tomorrow is rest day. And then on Holy Wednesday is game number 9 with Wenjun having the opportunity to close it out. This is definitely Armageddon. It's a win or it's just a win or draw is needed for Wenjun, while Tan Zhongyi just has to win to keep the hopes alive. All right. So we'll see you on Holy Wednesday. This has been Paul Emmanuel Operadas, aka Paul Bao, Arena FIDE Master and 6-time Wheeler of the Week, saying goodbye for now, and we'll see you on Holy Wednesday for the Women's World Chess Championship, where only one will reign.